All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating real-world experiment. It's a showdown that pits the world's top AI bots against the skills of a professional human translator. You know, the classic man versus machine story. But the results? Well, they're not quite what you might think. So, this whole thing kicks off with a confession. Our guy, a professional translator, basically admits he's being a bit of a hypocrite. He's always preached the pure, old-school way of translating, but well, the modern world and its deadlines had other plans for him. And this dilemma, it all comes down to a belief he's held for years, that there's really only one right way, one legitimate way, to translate something properly. So you've got two camps here. On one side, the legitimate way, the super careful sentence-by-sentence method he used for big clients like the European Parliament. And on the other side, the tempting shortcut. Just dump the whole text into an AI and fix the mistakes. But he was always sure that shortcut leaves behind, that machine feel, a clunky, not quite right translation. The problem, as it so often is, was time. Plain and simple. He had a brand new, really long blog post he needed to get from Slovak into English, and he just did not have the hours to do it the right way. The pressure was definitely on. So, as he put it, he decided to grind his teeth and turn this massive headache into an experiment. He figured, instead of fighting the machines, let's put them to the ultimate test. Let's have a good old-fashioned shootout. And here are the contenders. He threw his article at 10 of the biggest, most advanced AI bots out there. We're talking OpenAI, xAI, Google, Meta, the whole lot. And you've got to love his little notes here on the slide. The allegedly next to Claude, and my personal favorite, calling DeepSeek R1 a good joke. Tells you a little something about his expectations. And yep, right out of the gate, one of them just tanks. DeepSeek R1 apparently couldn't even figure out what it was supposed to do, no matter how many times he tried. So that just goes to show you not all these AIs are even on the same planet. And just like that, we're down to 9. So after going through all the different outputs from the 9 bots left standing, a few frontrunners started to pull away from the pack. The moment of truth was here. And the winners are, in what he described as a photo finish, the gold medal goes to OpenAI's GPT-5 thinking. Taking the silver is Grok 4 from xAI, and pretty surprisingly, the bronze medal goes to the older OpenAI model GPT-4o. But, and this is a really big but, the story doesn't stop there. Winning the gold did not mean it was a perfect translation, not even close. He made it crystal clear that even the very best one was, and I quote, nowhere near flawless. Yeah, it was a real mixed bag. The winner, GPT-5 Thinking, came up with some superb phrasings that sounded completely natural, things the other bots didn't even dream of. But it also made outright errors. And get this, the bronze winner, GPT-4o, just decided on its own to add helpful subheadings throughout the text, which was actually so useful, he ended up keeping them in the final version. So this whole experience, you can imagine, it completely flipped his thinking on its head. It wasn't about him being replaced by a machine anymore. It was about finding a whole new way to work with them, a new kind of teamwork. He started to think of all these AIs not as ghostwriters, but as his own personal robots mastermind group. Think of it like a team of brilliant consultants you can call on anytime. They're amazing for brainstorming solutions for those really tricky sentences, but you would never ask them to just take over the whole project by themselves. And this new mindset led him to create a whole new workflow, which he calls the amalgamated method. So here's what he does. First, give the text to a bunch of different AIs. Then, and this is the crucial part, manually go through and compare all their suggestions. And finally, create a new, single version by cherry-picking and weaving together the absolute best parts from each one. And that was the key insight, the big takeaway. Don't just pick the one best AI and run with it. The perfect turn of phrase often only shows up after you've looked at a few different machine perspectives. Or, as he put it, the more tin heads, the better. Okay, so after all of that, the big test, the results, this new workflow, what's the bottom line? What does this all really mean for the future of this kind of expert work? Well, get this. Even with his new supercharged AI-assisted method, creating that final, high-quality, polished translation still took hours of meticulous human work. This wasn't some 5-minute copy and paste job, not by a long shot. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? No matter how good the bots get, you still need a human to review the work. And not just a quick glance either. Real quality, it takes time, it takes judgment, it takes actual expertise. There are no shortcuts to excellence. It's as simple as that. So, what we're really seeing is that AI isn't replacing the expert translator, it's changing the job. The expert's role is shifting, becoming more like a conductor of an orchestra, skillfully weaving together the best that the machines can offer to create something truly great. Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. As these AI tools get more and more powerful and become part of our everyday lives, maybe human expertise is actually becoming more valuable, not less. Perhaps the real gift of AI is that it forces us all to become sharper, smarter, and more discerning human experts.